Okay, so my first question is, introduce yourself backwards.
Jesus Christmas. Okay. Gil Cheyenne, M.I.
Yeah, that's good. No, that was well done. I actually always want to open with that every time and just see what everyone does differently, because I think everyone is gonna, you know.
I would just like trying to spell my name back.
Yeah.
I can never do, right?
Yeah.
It's only 4 letters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for someone to kind of do a little turnaround. You know, I'm waiting for that as well. So no.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah.
I should have done that.
I kind of. Okay, so say what you do in 3 words without using the word boudoir or maternity.
Okay.
Or photo.
Work with women.
Oh,
Nice.
Ooh.
www.
If you were to pose a donut in a very sexy manner,
Sure.
how would you do it? Could you
Oh,
pose?
that's so easy.
Okay. You could use a table, or you could use lobster.
Should I get actually lobster? I might ask you to move.
Oh, get them. She is not in this dish.
I have a very round shape.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I'm gonna take this off. I gotta get to work.
Sorry for putting you to work.
No, this is where I come alive. Are you kidding? All right, so bring your hand here. That's beautiful. Bring this hand up into your hair a bit. Bring your boobs up a little bit. Bam, donut.
Donut.
Just wait till one butt cheek.
That
Yeah.
butt cheek?
Yeah.
There we go. I have a sexy donut.
You are a sexy donut. Or you can pull one of these. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. Beautiful. Let your lips part just a bit.
Don't you wish you were photographing me, right?
Yes, I do. Beautiful.
That was so good. Okay, I'm gonna put this up because I can't see. Are English people different in their underwear versus American people?
Well, I've only photographed one. Well, they're both South African actually.
Oh, okay.
Girl,
But I was talking to the girls that I'm rooming with here. I was kind of like expressing my concern about photographing people from the UK because I do feel like there's a little bit more of modesty here. So yeah, and she said that she agreed with that, and she's from the UK. So I'm not nervous about it. I know I can pull it out of people, but it's definitely something I was thinking about on my way here. And, yeah.
So when you photographed the South Africans, did you feel you had to do anything different?
No.
Okay, so
No.
like
Essentially, we're all the same, and that's I think the coolest thing about what I do. Yeah.
If you were left on a desert island with one photography thing, what's the thing you would take with you? It can't be a camera.
like an essential tool.
Yeah. A camera's a bit lame because
You mean it's just something that I work with?
Yeah.
Or an actual piece of equipment, like photo equipment?
Either.
Yeah. My boudoir bed.
Your boudoir bed.
Yeah.
That's probably handy on the island as well.
Yeah.
That doubles up. Yeah. Business and leisure. So, okay, so imagine this scenario. You're out and about, and then a van pulls up, and they grab you, and they bundle you in the back of the van, and they put a bag over your head, and you get out the other side, and it's a new boudoir photographer, and they've got a, maybe this is too graphic. Basically, they ask you, your life depends on it. They ask you for one tip.
One tip.
A long build up to a simple tip. I thought, was that really controversial?
I think this is easy. Sorry, it's not controversial. Life or death. My one tip is learn what you're doing, because boudoir photography is such an intimate and special thing that you can ruin someone's life if you don't know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Imagine someone telling you, suck in your belly as they're shooting. Like, that's not okay, that's not right. And people will remember that for the rest of their lives. Women will remember that for the rest of their lives.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. Yeah. So you can really crush someone's self-esteem.
Absolutely, yeah. I've had clients who come and, you know, I always ask people if they've ever done this before, and some people say, oh, I did it 10 years ago, but it was so terrible. My photographer told me to suck in my belly, and that pose wasn't good on me because I'm too big, and all of these things. And they remember it, of course, 10 years later. And it also, obviously, ruins their entire experience. So, yeah, they'll remember their experience either way, but you need to make it good, of course.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us the weirdest thing that's happened to you while shooting boudoir?
I had a woman bring a saddle, like a real horse saddle, to her session.
Okay. Did she want to wear the saddle?
She didn't want to wear the saddle. She did want to straddle the saddle.
Okay.
However, I think oftentimes when these kinds of things happen, these women are looking for guidance. So instead of straddling the saddle, I draped her over it, and it was a much more classic and still sexy. But
was she really into horses?
She loves horses. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a sex saddle type.
Okay.
Thing.
Oh, okay.
It was much
saddle.
more of
Okay.
a proper saddle. Yeah.
Have you been shot before?
Yes. Bunches of times, yeah. I think it's so important for boudoir photographers to get in front of the lens and to learn how to move themselves to better instruct their clients and to show their clients exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So it's super important.
I know you're saying that people maybe sometimes used to bring props and they don't anymore. But okay, going back, if you had to have your prop to be shot in, what would your prop be?
Oh, that's a good question.
That could be very dirty, actually.
I'm not. It's funny. People think I'm like, since I'm a boudoir photographer, I'm this really sexual person, and I'm like, not really. What would my prop be? Honestly, my boyfriend. I would love to do boudoir shoots. I mean, we kind of have, but I'd love to do a boudoir shoot with Damien.
Oh, okay.
Bow wow.
So you did your talk yesterday at Snap, which is where we are. How did it go?
It went awesome. Yeah, I mean, how many people were there? Maybe 20?
20 in a small room.
Yeah, and I really thought it was going to be like 5 people. I didn't know that there would be that many people, which is great. I think it's awesome. It went really well. It went really fast. And I think I got a lot of info in there. So it was fun. I mean, I love teaching. It's so amazing. So it was awesome.
How long have you been teaching for?
Well, this is my 2nd workshop, and I've had a few of my own workshops over the past year and a half. Yeah. And before that, I would do other little teaching things that weren't boudoir. But
what's kind of the main, I guess, message or maybe the difference you want to change? You know, the difference you want to make.
I didn't realize you could claw.
Oh, yeah. These exist. Okay. I'm speaking. What's like the main message, I guess, or take-home message that you want every time you give these workshops? Assuming it's roughly the same content, or what's like, I guess, the key difference you want to make to other wannabe or existing boudoir photographers?
I think that the main thing is really, I think the most important thing about boudoir is that you're making your client feel comfortable, right? We're not objectifying our clients. Oftentimes that happens when male photographers are shooting women, and it also happens a lot when women are shooting women, because we're used to a certain type of imagery when it comes to like sexiness and all that kind of thing. And so to kind of take a step back, reevaluate what you actually want to be shooting, because some people want to shoot, more about sex. I don't shoot that way. I shoot much more about celebrating body, mind, soul, and coming away, from your session feeling confident and beautiful and sure of yourself and all these things. So when I'm teaching workshops, I really try to drive that home. Everyone has to find their own style, so what I do is definitely not for everyone. But yeah, when I'm teaching, it's definitely comfortability for your client, which I think is number one most important thing. Your client has to be comfortable with you, comfortable with what's happening, etc., etc.
You said your style is a little bit different from other boudoir photographers. In what way would you say that's the case?
I think that that traditionally boudoir is about sex and about being super duper sexy, or even in a lot of cases erotic, and gifting that to your partner, right? So a lot of my work is much more for the woman, and if they happen to gift it to their partner, that's great, and their partner ends up loving it because I'm depicting their partner in such a raw and beautiful and their true selves, and not like clown makeup and ridiculous lingerie and butts poking out everywhere. We do a little bit of that, the butt poking. Depending.
Does a lobster outfit have a tail? It just occurred to me.
I think a lobster is just a tail. Like a lobster is just.
So with
I have these though, which
with posing a lobster, would you get like those sticking out?
Oh, these?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. We let it all hang out in my boudoir sessions.
Just let it all hang out.
If you got rolls, we let them roll. If you got bumps, you let them bump. All types of things. Yeah. You're so sad.
Oh yeah, I know. My hair is.
Yeah. I think another thing that I do differently than a lot of boudoir photographers. I do zero Photoshop, so
Oh,
I'm not sculpting anybody. And on top of that, I'm also not posing for you to look your absolute skinniest. I'm posing you to look like you. A lot of people still use Photoshop and all of that stuff, and I'm just totally not with that. So I do a little bit of skin smoothing. I might get rid of a blemish. Otherwise, you are as you are. So
that's awesome, because I do that with weddings as well. And I think it's probably the same for both industries. I think have a lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
To do a lot of Photoshop, and I put it on my website, and I'm really clear with clients beforehand.
Absolutely.
That I think it's like I think people only want it because they think they should want it.
Exactly.
And actually, they can still love the pictures of themselves without it.
Exactly. And I've come to find that oftentimes when women come to me and they are being hard on themselves or something, they don't actually think that they're ugly or fat. They just think that they're supposed to think that about themselves.
Yeah.
So they're saying oh, my belly. And I'm like, do you actually feel that way? And then they're like, actually, no, I don't. So there's this immense amount of pressure. And how many times have you apologized when someone complimented you, or something like that, or deflected, or whatever? It's like the same idea.
Is it harder to shoot someone who is confident or someone who is shy?
It's interesting because a lot of people are a little bit of both at different times. So it's harder to shoot women who are very, very, very into their appearance.
Okay.
Because they feel like they have something to live up to, and they have a standard for themselves, and they want to look in the mirror every 5 seconds, and they don't trust me, etc., etc. For women who feel like they have nothing to lose and whatever, they can just go in and not think about it and have fun. So I get everyone to that point, but some women struggle and they feel like they need to look in the mirror, or they're just terrified to look a certain way or to be depicted in a way that isn't what they want to look like. To answer your question, it's both. I mean, it's just both. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? Because I've never done. So you do a bit of boudoir.
Yeah.
I've never done boudoir shop or shop by or anything like that. And so I'm genuinely just asking you this stuff because I'm really fascinated. I'm like, there's loads of things I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I think I always thought it would be just a sexy thing gift that you give to your partner.
Well, that's
what,
and
never occurred to me.
And that's like kind of the common, understanding. And so for a while I tried not to use the word boudoir for my sessions, but it was being lost on people. So I just used that word and I just tell people I do it in a different way. And at this point, I get all of my business from Instagram and word of mouth. So people already follow me and know what I'm about, and they come to me for a specific reason. Okay. Very rarely am I getting inquiries that are like, oh, do you shoot boudoir? I need boudoir pictures. Yeah, that's how it used to be all the time. Yeah. And now I'm at a point where people know that if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always sharing my own journey. I'm talking about self-love, body positivity, and all of these things. And I'm really a huge body positive advocate, and I mean actually all bodies, not just curvy, hourglass shape. I'm truly body positive, and people see that, they're comfortable with it, and they want to come to me to celebrate themselves.
Is Instagram such like a big part of your business then?
It has grown to be.
Okay. You said like the last year, it feels like it has really taken off, or?
In the last year and a half or so.
Okay.
I've gained thousands of followers.
That's amazing.
It is.
And do you find like, because you're posting like boudoir photos on Instagram, do you find like you're hitting filter issues, or is it?
No, because what I post is not at all, like if you go on my Instagram, you'll see that very, very, very rarely am I posting something that's like really sexual.
Okay.
I don't post any nudity because of those reasons.
Yeah.
Like I don't harp on Instagram. Like I'm not like, oh, what am I gonna post today? Like it has to be great. If I love something, I'm gonna post it. Right. If it's a picture of my boyfriend, if it's a picture of my dog, I'm gonna post it.
So it's not always just like boudoir stuff.
No,
it's just whatever you want.
No, and it's also a ton of self-portraits because a lot of my clients ask me not to share their images, and that's fine. So I started doing self-portraits and sharing my own body, which I think is what really draws people in, followers, good followers who want to read what I have to say, which is so incredible, and it's such an amazing feeling. And
so are you doing like a wall of text with your Instagram? It's like the photo and then the story.
Caption is like what gets people, because sometimes I'll post pictures and not really put a great caption, and
it doesn't get
as much, I'm not saying like it doesn't get as much likes, but people aren't
engagement.
Engagement, thank you. That's the word. I love to write, and all of my Instagram posts that I'm writing about body image and my own journey is they're not planned. It's when it comes to me and I'm feeling this way or that way, and I just spew it. So
so you mentioned about it, like the ethos of the way you shoot, and it's obviously quite unique to you. What actually, I guess, led you to want to shoot with that particular with those particular ethics, with that mindset?
Ever since I was a little girl, I was always drawing, and my mom always called me an artist. My dad always called me an artist. They really, fostered that in me. I was always drawing women and mermaids and fairies, gypsies, all of that type of thing, always. So as I got older and my body started developing, and I, was watching my mom go through a lot of body image issues, and my mom, who to me was the most beautiful and incredible and smart woman in the world, I didn't understand why she was hating her body, right? So that led me to kind of look at my own body and say, well, geez, like, should I be looking at myself in this light, And that just started a whole world of me hating myself completely. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was working through it by drawing all these women and photographing women, drawing my mom, photographing my mom, always photographing people. Through my teenage years, really struggling with my body image and hating myself, like, all around. When I went to college, I was a painting and drawing major, so I was doing a lot of drawings and really focusing on body image, the relationship between mothers and daughters, specifically me and my own mom. And so I was doing these enormous drawings of my mom and I, who have two very different bodies, in the same pose, but back to back, and they were diptychs, and they were 17 by 21 feet.
Wow.
Enormous drawings. So anyhow, all the while still photographing, I loved shooting women. I didn't really know what I wanted to be, or what kind of, I know I wanted to be a photographer, I didn't know what kind of photographer, if I wanted to be a fashion photographer or whatever. And then one day my mom and I were just kind of talking about my business and hanging out, and boudoir was not what it is now. It was pearls and G-strings and high heels and like all of this, very much about sex, very much about the man's view and all of that. And I hated it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I want to do this, but my mom said to me, do it in your own way, and she was my first boudoir client.
Oh, wow.
So she posed for me, she posed for me, and as I'm shooting her, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of like telling her to do this and that and whatever. And she's giggling, and she's cracking up, and she's playing with her hair, and I was just looking through my viewfinder, like, in awe of what was happening, because my mom, like, if my mom can feel like that, that was the moment where I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but this is what I'm going to do. And from that moment on, I stopped shooting families and seniors and all that shit. Stuff I was,
you can all the time.
And all that stuff that I was doing, I stopped doing it, and I asked some friends to post for me who would let me share their images, and I just started marketing for boudoir, and I just developed my own style with that very much behind me. Just, this isn't about sex, this isn't about anything other than yourself, and it took a long time. All the while, mind you, I'm working on myself, and I was going to therapy and journaling and doing all of these things, and really coming to a place where I could get in front of my own camera and feel comfortable, and that's when I started sharing. And as soon as I started sharing my own journey and my own body, I had messages of people thanking me, and I had no idea that was going to come. And I was like 22 years old, and so it just tumbled from there, and I never stopped sharing. And 5 years later, it's just snowballed.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so it's my life. Like, that's, it's not like I can separate my work. It's kind of hard in a lot of ways, but also, when people ask me who I am or what I like to, they don't, even if they ask me what I do and I tell them, and then they ask me what I like to do, I tell them work, because this is my life's work, and it's important work, and I adore it. So.
Yeah.